Back to Collective with McMahon and Bontemps. Okay, we had another trade that this one was also surprising. There was some belief that Jaren Jackson would be available despite having 4 years and $200 million left on his contract after this season with the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies making their intentions with their roster relatively clear when they traded Desmond Bane back at the draft, put John Moran on the block, and began taking calls for Jaren Jackson. There was a belief that Jaren might go after Ja, but they went ahead and made the deal first. And Utah, which has been hoarding picks and saving up cap space and doing a lot of losing, saw an opportunity and they went in on it. So they give 3 first-round picks, and the rest of it was, young players, but mostly was just trade filler. But basically, who knows? Maybe Taylor Hendricks finds a new life in Memphis.
Walter Clayton Jr., that's an interesting pickup for the Grizzlies. But yeah, this was about picks, and this is about pre-agency for the Jazz, who came in stealth mode. And, everyone's asking, are the Jazz sellers? Are they sellers? Are they sellers? Not a single person, I think, asked, are the Jazz going to be buyers at the deadline? But they came in, and this obviously is a move that is about, you're not getting free agents in Utah. Here's a chance to acquire a big-time talent who's on a long-term deal that they feel like fits with their core moving forward.
And not only that, when you mentioned free agency, they had a ton of cap space this summer. And I think the important thing to note here is the improvement and the emergence of Keontae George as a real core piece going forward. But he's definitely in the running for most improved player this year. He's taken a big leap. And because of the growth he has shown this year, the one guy this summer who people were linking Utah to early on was Austin Reeves. So they, in theory, could have gone in and given a max offer to and said, hey, come run our team, be our star ball handler and have as much usage as you want. But when Keontae George took off the way he did, it made it a lot less reasonable to make that kind of bet on Austin Reeves. So in a world where you have to spend the money if you have it, like you've got to get to the salary floor, you can't just have space. The Jazz only had limited options to really go with. And that's why, to me, there are not many teams I would have felt great about trading for Jaren Jackson Jr. with this contract going forward at $50 million a year the next 4 years for some of the deficiencies he has in his game. But I really like the fit in Utah, and I really think this is about as good of a fit as you were going to find because they both have the salary cap flexibility to take on his money. Playing next to Walker Kessler, he needs to be a power forward. He could play next to Lauri Markkanen sometimes. He could play next to Walker Kessler a lot. I love that fit. Will Hardy having those guys, being able to be creative with them, doing different things with him and Lauri Markkanen with the ball is going to be fun to watch. And in the Western Conference, where we talk about Oklahoma City, and you talk about San Antonio, and you talk about Houston, the teams you have to beat are all big. Like getting size to try to compete in the West is critical. So I think the fit makes a lot of sense. And it's going to be a really long couple of months to see if they can keep this top 8 protected pick, which is not going to be easy. Jazz won. Why are you saying that?
As a quick,
Listen, the Jazz
side
won tonight.
fight. So
the Jazz are in 6th place in the lottery odds right now.
Hold on. You say the Jazz won. The Jazz beat the Fort Wayne Fire Ants or whatever.
Okay,
well,
there's going to be a lot more of those games. Yes. The Milwaukee Bucks beat half the Bulls today. They're not going to win many games.
I think it's the Noblesville Boom, actually, is now
Noblesville Boom. But real talk here. Yes. Real talk, okay? As we sit here right now, Utah has 16 wins, okay? That is 6th. 8th or 9th or lower, they lose the pick, okay? So, also with 6, okay, so they have a 3-game lead on 7th, but that's Dallas. How many more? Dallas has 19 wins. How many more games does Dallas win in McMahon?
Not a lot.
Then Milwaukee. I don't know if Giannis will play again if we don't trade him. How many games is Milwaukee winning?
If Giannis plays a second this season, that's an idiotic decision. Or if he plays a second for the Bucks, that's an idiotic decision. They ain't winning very many more games. Well,
Giannis is threatening to come back to try to get him to do a trade. Of course. I shouldn't say he's threatening. That'll be aggregated. Giannis wants to come back, which he wants the Bucks to know.
The bottom line is it's just going to – I'm not –
the Grizzlies are full speed ahead.
Hold on. Right. Grizzlies, 19 wins. That's a tank.
Yeah, they're free
Yep.
falling.
So
as
the
part of
three
the plan.
teams directly behind Utah ain't trying to win.
I'm just telling you.
So
I will be surprised if Utah doesn't keep this pick. And
okay, I agree. So here's
rest
my
assured, tank note is still in full effect for the rest of this season.
Okay.
And after that, it's done.
Cool. How are they going to? So they had Lauri Markkanen miss 7 games with the flu recently. How are we going to have Jaren Jackson and Lauri Markkanen miss all these games?
I don't know. Jaren's yet to have his physical. Maybe. I don't know.
Listen, Trae Young showed up with 6 injuries in Washington, so who knows what's going to happen in Utah. But, I mean, look, this is...
Well, that's true. Well, hey, listen, the league is looking at Trae Young. You know, he was playing games, he got traded, and then, you know, I mean, look, I'm not even mad. Like, I'm not even, like, saying they shouldn't do it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, listen, look, clearly there's going to have to be some creative license used here, but I'm just telling you. Obviously,
yes, we're all aware of what the Jazz are going to try to do. I'm just sitting here telling you, it's going to be hard.
Right.
I'm sure they're going to try, but it's going to be hard.
The teams behind them ain't winning any more games.
Yes,
they just ain't.
Right.
All right. So, listen, we all agree on that. I'll bet on them keeping that pick, but we'll see. The fit moving forward to me is fascinating. The Jazz clearly feel strongly about their core now, and their core, Keontae George, Lauri Markkanen, Jaren Jackson Jr. You can include Ace Bailey in that, and they are including Walker Kessler.
He's number 5 pick.
They're including Walker Kessler as part of that core. I'm just telling you, the Walker Kessler restricted free agency is not going to be a fun, cozy experience. You know, they want to keep Walker Kessler. They have turned down picks, or offers rather, for nice draft compensation over the last year or so for him. They see him as part of their core moving forward. They have a number in mind for Walker Kessler, and Walker and his representation have a much larger number in mind. He will be a restricted free agency, but it'll be very interesting to see if Walker can get the kind of offer that's going to put the Jazz to the test when they have now a front court that, Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr. are going to be making roughly $95 million a year combined moving forward. And look, Chicago's going to need a big. The Lakers need a big. Washington needs a big. I don't think Charlotte does.
Teams with cap space.
Right. I don't think Charlotte does. I think Charlotte's found a nice little tag team tandem, but we'll see. I don't know. I have not run. Yeah, Moose and Kalkbrenner, but theoretically they could be, and it just takes one. So again, the Jazz very firmly will tell you that Walker Kessler is part of their core moving forward. I'm just going to warn that we need to see how the summer plays out before we're certain of that.
It's like the path to keep their pick is going to be a little fraught. The path to keeping Walker might be a little fraught, but I think there's a good chance to keep the pick. And I think there's a good chance to keep Walker. I know they want to. And, it's restricted free agency for a reason. Like,
right.
I suspect he'll be on the team.
Speaking of doing a lot of business, how about the Chicago Bulls being very much in business in the trade deadline week with more to come? We'll be talking about that when we come back.